Alright, so for lesson 6 of chapter 1, we focused on multiplying by one-digit numbers. So I have an easy example problem here that I want to start off with. So my problem is 293 times 9. When I write my problem, I put each number in a box on my graph paper, so that way it's easily lined up. And I make sure that my 9 is right underneath the ones place value, since 9 is representing the ones place value. Before I start, I like to first estimate to see where my answer should be close to. So when I look at 293, I'm thinking, well, this 9, I can bump this 2 up to a 3. So I'm going to turn that into 300 when I'm rounding. And then I'm going to keep my 9 as it is, because this becomes an easy math fact then in my head. So when I multiply this, 3 times 9, that equals 27. And then I have my 2 zeros I'm going to add on. So I know from this estimate, 2,700, that my actual answer should be pretty close to this number. So let's look at the real problem. So I first start in the ones place value. I say to myself, 9 times 3. 9 times 3 equals 27. So I put my 7 down below, but I can't put my 2 next door to it. So I need to put my 2 above the number in the tens place value and kind of think of it as a regrouping. So now I'm asking myself, 9 times 9. So now I'm moving to the tens place value. So 9 times 9 is 81 plus 2. So that's 81, 82, 83. So I'm going to put my 3 right underneath that tens place value. But my 8, I can't put it here. So I need to kind of put that up top above the hundreds place value. So now I'm going to transition to my last number in the hundreds place value. So I'm going to say 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 8 is 26. So I'm going to put my 6, and I don't have a number to put the 2 above up top. So I'm going to write that right next to the 6. So my answer is 2,637. Let's look at another problem. Let's look at this problem here. 1,978 times 7. Before I do anything, I want to start by estimating. So I want to think, 1,978, what could I round this to make it an easy fact, an easy basic math fact to do in my head? So I know that this 9 is telling me that I can bump this 1 up to a 2. So I've turned 1,978 into 2,000, and I'm going to keep the 7 by itself. So now I can do this basic multiplication and say 2 times 7 is 14, and I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros, and then add my comma. So I know my actual answer to this problem here should be pretty close to 14,000, because this is my estimate. So now when I look at the original problem, I want to set it up going vertically, up and down. So I'm going to give each number a box so I can keep it organized. So 1, 9, 7, 8. Now the 7, I'm going to put right under the 8 because that's in the ones place value. And I want to keep them lined up based off their place value. So now I'm thinking in my head, 7 times 8 is 56. So I put my 6 right below. And I cannot put my 5 next door, so I'm going to put my 5 up top. So now I'm saying 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 5, so let's see, it's 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. So now I'm going to put my 4 below, and I can't put my 5 next door, so I'm going to put my 5 up top. Now I'm going to go to 7 times 9, the hundreds place value. So I'm just kind of moving my way around the top number. So 7 times 9 is 63. 63 times 5. 63 times 5 plus 5. So 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. So that is 68. So I'm going to put my 8 down here, right underneath the hundreds place value. And my 6 needs to come up top, because I cannot put it by it because I still have numbers that I need to multiply. So now I'm moving to the thousands, and I'm going to say 7 times 1 is 7 plus 6 is 13. And I can put this 1 here because I don't have any other numbers to put it above. So this is my number, 13,846. I want to look at one more problem. This problem says 608 times 8. So before I do anything, I want to first estimate. I want to first think about what number my product is going to be close to. So I looked at 608, and I'm looking at the number next to the 6. It's a 0. So it's a good idea for me to keep this 6 as it is. So I made it into 600. And I'm going to keep this 8 because it's a lone 8, it's by itself, it's in the ones place value, so I'm not going to change that. So now I can do my basic math fact and say 6 times 8, and that is 48. And I have 2 zeros, 1, 2. So now, when I set up my actual problem and solve it, I know that my product of my actual problem should be pretty close to this 4,800. So now let's set up the actual problem. I'm going to give each number its own box on my grid paper to keep it organized. So now I'm going to multiply it by my 8, and I'm going to keep the 8 in the ones place value right underneath the 8 above it, because that 8 above it is also saying the ones place value. So now, when I multiply, 8 times 8 is 64. So I'm going to put my 4, since that's the ones place value, right underneath, and I'm not going to put my 6 next door to it because I still have numbers up top that I need to multiply. So I'm going to put my 6 on the top, right above the tens place value, because that's where I'm moving next. Remember, we moved to the ones place value, tens, then hundreds, and if there was thousands, we would move there. So now I'm moving to my tens place value. So 8 times 0 is 0, and I need to add this 6. So 0 plus 6, that's easy, that's 6. And I'm keeping it right underneath my tens place value as I'm solving. Now, I'm going to move to my hundreds place value and say 8 times 6, 48. And I'm going to write my 8s first, and I don't have any other numbers to write up my 4 above, so I can put my 4 right next to it. And then I count 1, 2, 3, comma. So my answer is 4,864, which is pretty close to 4,800.